In this video, I will show you how to use Affinity Photo in less than 15 minutes. Let's go! Oh, by the way, if you watch till the very end of this video, I got a little present for you. So make sure to watch till the end, and sorry for the interruption. Once you open up Affinity Photo, you want to open either a photo or open a new document. And in this case, we're gonna open a new document. How to do that? Simply go up here to File and click New, or use its keyboard shortcut Command N. So let me press Command N and this window will pop up and it will start in My Presets. If you have no presets, this will be empty. Up at the top here, you can choose any preset you like. These are presets that Affinity Photo offers. You can also create your own new document with your own dimensions. Simply fill in your dimensions here. Let's say 4000 by 3000 for whatever reason. You can either create this document, or you can hit this little plus icon to create it into a preset. Now you can rename the preset by right clicking, rename preset, and let's call this one rename. Alright, so let's open our new preset. I simply click it and I hit create. So a little bit about the interface. On the top we have a toolbar. On the left side we find our personas, and on the right side of our personas, which are right over here, we find more options that we can use to change stuff in our document. On the right side we have the studio panel, or the studio, which will look like this. We can change the studio however we like, so we can move things around, we can clip them together, we can move them together, etc, etc. So this is fully customizable. Find out whatever you like and put it down here in the tools panel. If you want to change your tools panel, simply go up here to view, go to studio and click whatever you like to open it. Let me open sources for now, and you can see that my sources panel will have opened. I can click and drag it to wherever I want and move it there. So let me cross this for now. And on the left side, more important, are our tools. These are all the tools that we use to apply adjustments to our photo. So let's open a picture. So let me go to my pictures, which are right here, and let me open any photo. So let me start with, let's say this one. Why not? So I simply go to the photo, which was right over here. I select it, I press Command C to copy it, and I go over here and press Command V to paste it. Another way to do it is by going up here to File, click Place, and select any photo that you want to open, and now we can simply click and drag to open the photo. So there we have our second photo. So now let me show you some other stuff what we can do with photos. Let me select this photo right now, and let's select the move tool, which is this arrow icon, or we can simply select it by pressing its keyboard shortcut V. With the move tool selected, we can drag these handles to resize and reshape our images. If we drag the corner, we can resize and scale it. If we drag the middle handles, we can stretch it. So from any handle where you drag, the effect will pop out from the opposite corner. So if I would drag the bottom right one, you can see that it will stretch from the top left, which is the opposite of the bottom right, obviously. Let's say if I don't want that, so I want to stretch from the middle, I can simply click now, hold it, and then press Command. So you can now see that my image will stretch from the center instead of from the opposite corner or opposite handle. We can also rotate our image by hovering just outside of a corner handle. Once we click and hold, we can rotate our image. If we would hold Shift, you can see that it will rotate with increments of 15 degrees. So we can be, let's say, more precise or less precise, depends on how you look at it. We can also turn the image by using this white handle on top here. So let's move this back to where it was. And another thing what we can do with our images is that simply right click to transform it, flip it horizontally, we can flip it vertically, we can change the alignment. So if we would want to have it in the center, we can press center. If I would want to have it aligned to the middle, now it will be exactly in the middle of our document. And let me flip this for now, so it will actually look normal again. To change the perspective of an image, we would have to use the perspective tool. You can find the perspective tool right over here. So go up to view, go to customize tools, and here you'll find all the tools that Affinity Photo offers. Simply click and drag any tool to or from your toolbar, and you will see that it will be added to the toolbar. Now you can see I have a single column. Usually I have it set to the double column because now you cannot see it yet, but when I close this, you can see this little color picker thing appear here. And since I come from Photoshop, I was used to it, so I like to have my tools panel, let's say, double columned. So to change the perspective of this image, we would have to select the perspective tool, which is right over here. Our assistant will turn our image layer into a pixel layer because we cannot really work on an image layer. And now when I click and drag this image, I can actually resize this image. So let me put it right here for now, just because I can and because it's fun. So let me do that quickly. And you can see that by using the perspective tool, we can actually totally change the perspective of this image. There's some more things that we can do to an image. Let's go down here to the effects panel. This is the effects. You can click on it and this dialog box will pop up. You can also click the effects panel, which I prefer using actually, because right here we don't have this weird toolbox popping up over our canvas. We can simply do the same options from here. So let me outline our image, which is this image right over here. Let me outline it for now with a fat black outline. We can also change the color of this outline to red, let's say. Of course, we can do any changes. So there's more effects right here. Simply click on one, make sure the box is checked, and drag and do some stuff to see what's happening to your layer once you applied this effect. Alright, let me delete these two for now. More things that we can do are adjustment layers. And adjustment layers are used to change the color, contrast, the lighting in an image. So let me use the other image as an example, which is the image, let's say our background image. And let's now add an adjustment layer. So let's say we want to make it a warmer image. Then I would click right here to select a white balance layer. And adjustment layers work like this. Usually a dialog box will pop up and you can simply slide these things around to apply the changes, and you will see a live preview, as you will see. So if I want to cool down this image, I would simply drag this one to the left. If I want to warm up this image, which I want in this case, I would simply move it to the right. Of course, I can also change the tint to from green to more magenta. So let me add some magenta, and this is what happened right here. So this is the before and this is the after. As you can see, this adjustment layer only affected my background layer. So let's call this background for now. You can rename layers by double clicking its name. Let's call this building for now or whatever. You can see that my adjustment layer is positioned in between these layers. And every adjustment layer only affects the layers below it or the layers it is clipped to. So now you can see that it will only affect my background layer because that's the layer below my adjustment layer. If I would drag this above everything, you can see that also this image, it's hard to see, but also this image has been changed. If I would clip it to my building layer, let's say, now it will only affect the building layer and not the background layer. So you can see how adjustment layers will affect different layers depending on where the adjustment layer is placed. Adjustment layers can also be added to a group. So let's say I group these images together. I click the bottom one, hold Command and click the second one and press Command G to group them together. Now you can see they are in a group. And if I would drag this within the group, you can see that it would also apply to both images at the same time. If I would drag the background out of this group, let me do that like this, you can see that it's not affecting my background layer anymore, but it is only affecting the building layer, which is inside of the group. The next thing what we can do in Affinity Photo is drag shapes, which is this one right here. You can simply click and hold to expand the menu, so you have more tools right here. And you can see if you can expand it if this little arrow is shown. So this one I can click and hold and you will see more options appear. This one I can click and hold and you'll see more options appear, same as this one. So let me select the shape tool and let me select the arrow tool for whatever reason. I click and drag to draw an arrow, and over here in the context toolbar you have multiple options, and the context toolbar actually changes with every tool you have selected. So if I would select another tool, you can see that the context toolbar would completely change its options. So let me go back to the arrow tool, and you can see right here I can change my arrow from left to right. I can change the arrow head. I can change, let's say, the length of the arrow. I can change the offset of the arrow, etc, etc. So these shapes are fully customizable. Obviously, with the move tool selected, we can reshape them however we like. We can rotate it, etc. We can do the same things as what we can do to an image. Now, if you want to add text to an image, simply click this A or this artistic text tool and click and drag wherever in your screen to add text. So now I've clicked and dragged, and I will type hello in exactly the same size as I dragged my letter. So let's say hello, IAMRENSI, like this. Let's move it a little bit. Alright, so I have my text layer selected. With the text tool selected, which is this one right here, I can change the font color to, let's say, let me select everything. I can change the font color to, let's say, white or blue or whatever color I like. I can reshape the text. I can move the text around. I can position the text. I can also change the perspective of the text. I can basically do the same as what I can do to any other layer. So I'm not sure if I already told you, but right here you see some checkboxes. If you simply click them, you can choose to show or hide the layer. Another important thing what I want to show you is layer masks. So let me select the arrow layer and let's create a layer mask. So you press this icon and a mask will be attached to the layer. Let me select the mask, and if I would select the brush tool right now, right over here in the tools panel, you can also select it by pressing B on the keyboard. If I select my black brush, you can see that I can mask out parts of my arrow. However, now I have black selected, so black will hide. If I would change my color to white by pressing this little arrow icon or by pressing X on the keyboard, you can toggle between the foreground and the background color. And if I would select white now and brush over it again, you can see that I can show parts of my arrow again. So I can mask it back. So with black you mask it out, and with white you will reveal it, let's say. A very important keyboard shortcut you will definitely have to use a lot is Command S, which is simply to save your document. The first time, if you haven't saved it yet, up here in the toolbar you will find the status of your document. This star means that it is adjusted and that it is not saved yet. So let me press Command S to save this document. Let's rename it test and let's save it wherever I like. So I've just put it on my desktop and I press save. And as you can see, once it's saved, you will see the document name appear right over here, and you will see this little star icon disappear. As soon as I make an adjustment again, so let's say I move the text a little bit, you will see the star icon reappear, which means that we actually adjusted something without saving yet. So now I could just press Command S because we already have our document, which is called test. So now if I would move anything and I just press Command S, it will save right to this document. Alright, so as promised, I've got a bonus for you. As you might have noticed, I use a lot of keyboard shortcuts in my workflow, and this is not even the tip of the mountain what I've showed you in this quick tutorial. So I've created a workflow booster cheat sheet. You can actually download it for free right below this video in the description. I'm sure you will love it, and you will definitely 3x your workflow at least once you get to know the keyboard shortcuts. Obviously, there's a lot more to learn than the things that I've just shown you in this video. However, what I've showed you in this video are just some great things for any beginner to know, so you can actually start creating and editing your own photos straight away with these techniques and tools. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and let me know in the comments what was your favorite tip of this video. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you aren't already, and then I hope to see you in my next video. Peace.